Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every being and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another not by creed, but by covenant, and we are called to love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here. Today's chalice lighting is by Amy Williams Clark. We gather in this time of uncertainty, full of unknowns, as angst closes in upon us. We light this chalice with a flame that draws us together. With this flame, we cut through the darkness of isolation and are warmed by the fires of our interconnection. For this moment, this radical moment, we find a certainty within the knowable bounds of love and community.
Good morning. We are excited to have Harlow Robinson as our guest preacher today. Harlow was a member of Arlington Street Church from 2013 until 2018, serving on the worship committee and on the prudential committee. Currently, Harlow is a member of the Throop UU Church in Pasadena, California. Harlow was a professor of history at Northeastern University for 22 years and is the author of 5 books. He and his husband, Robert Hawley, were married at ASC in 2004. Welcome, Harlow, and thank you for putting together this service for us. I'm so happy we can be here Zooming to worship together. We're doing an awesome job staying together while we're apart. Thanks again and again to our extraordinary tech team, Rich Abreu, Sandy Dixon, Frank Lee, Jonah Buchman, Art Naba, Barb Seidel. They're making it all possible. Thank you. If you haven't already downloaded today's order of service, there's a link in the chat, and it's also available on the homepage at ascboston.org. All of the hymn lyrics are included in the order of service and will be posted in the chat so we can sing together. And now, please say hello in the chat as we continue our virtual greetings. As soon as we finish our initial hello, we will sing our first hymn, number 95, There is More Love Somewhere. Let's engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends social distance as we greet one another heart to heart.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on until I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on until I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on until I find it. There is more peace somewhere there is more joy. Somewhere there is more joy. Somewhere I'm gonna keep on till I find there is more joy somewhere.
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. These candles were submitted at ascboston.org. If you didn't submit your candle and have one you'd like to share this morning, I invite you to type it into the chat. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. Despite having to be apart, may we stay very close. And now, in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you. A candle of concern from Arlington Street Church. Concern for all in the path of the anticipated storms and hurricanes. Safety for all on this path and peace for all triggered by these natural disasters. A candle of sorrow from Art Judge. For my wife Susan, who is suffering from a recurrence of a rare autoimmune disease. Please keep her in your thoughts. A candle of sorrow from Al Ingram. My cousin Bill Terry passed away July 23rd in Arizona. Having faced many difficult challenges in life and struggled for many years with his health, he has now found peace. Please join me in holding Bill and all his family and friends in our hearts and prayers. A final candle of concern from Arlington Street Church. Yesterday began the travel ban in Massachusetts in another effort to stop the spread of COVID-19. As so many make sacrifices for safety, we send our love and our thoughts to all who are unable to see their loved ones across states and countries without an end in sight. May we continue to work to spread love and to be family to one another, especially when so many neighbors are unable to be with their family and friends.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a
Some of us come today in joy. We share your joy. Our one spoken candle today is a mixed candle from Alma Antoniadi, a candle of sorrow at the passing of my dear friend, Jeanette Campbell, at the age of 89. It is also a candle of celebration of our friendship of more than 50 years. We met at work when I was 24, traveled through Europe and the UK together, and stayed connected through our lives. Jeanette was an extraordinary woman, full of kindness, generosity, and wisdom. Gail and I cherish our memories of her and will miss her deeply.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
For all the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of our sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing in our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, and for the world. Amen. Let's join now in saying together the affirmation and covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación, y servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor, y ayudarnos los unos a los otros. And now please join in singing hymn number 211, We Are Climbing Jacob's Ladder.
We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We are climbing on. Every round goes higher and higher. Every round goes higher and higher. Every round goes higher and higher. We are climbing on. If I stumble, will you help me? If I stumble, will you help me? If I stumble, will you help me? We are climbing on. Though the road is steep and rugged, though the road is steep and rugged, though the road is steep and rugged, we are climbing on.
The power of patience. I decided to talk about patience today because I have so little of it. Just ask my friends and family. Especially, ask my husband, Robert. For 39 years now, he has lived with my impatience, showing remarkable patience in the process. When I have a meltdown over a computer malfunction, the first advice he gives me is to slow down and be patient. It always goes better after that. Fortunately, Robert has a good sense of humor as well. While in the process of preparing these remarks, I ordered several books about patience. When Amazon failed to deliver them on the designated date, I expressed frustration and impatience. He laughed at the absurdity of my reaction. Getting impatient about patience. But this is the world we live in. The speed of our digital existence has conditioned us to expect our desires and preferences to be instantly fulfilled. A click on the computer, and we get what we want. Our tolerance for any sort of delay has decreased dramatically, even dangerously. We have paid a severe emotional price for this impatient and competitive lifestyle. As actor Lily Tomlin has wisely observed, the thing about the rat race is that even if you win, you're still a rat. Patience has become an endangered species. Until now. The seemingly endless COVID pandemic we're now living through is showing us the necessity and value of patience. It's the most severe test of patience and endurance that most of us have experienced in our lifetimes. In our collective attempt to slow the spread of the virus, we have had to put our lives on hold. In self-isolation and quarantine, we have had to postpone so many activities that we had always taken for granted and even considered essential to our lives. Travel, dining out, socializing with friends, going to the gym, attending concerts or sporting events, even attending church. Here we are, meeting on Zoom instead of in our beautiful historic sanctuary on Arlington Street. And it appears we will not be able to gather there again safely for quite a while. Perhaps not until spring of 2021. We are foregoing all these activities in order to hopefully reach the more valuable and important communal goal of flattening the curve of the virus. Many of us feel intense impatience and frustration. Some have been unable to control their impatience, especially as time has dragged on and they've returned to pre-COVID behaviors that put us all at risk. Others have experienced severe depression and intense feelings of loss. So this seems like a particularly good moment to reflect upon patience, an old-fashioned virtue that has again come into vogue. Let us take a deep, patient breath together and proceed. The dictionary defines patience as the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. Notice that word capacity. Capacity implies a skill or attitude to be learned or mastered, not an innate human behavior. Patience is a practice and one that can be constantly improved. We acquire patience through consistent mindful effort, like learning to play the piano or speaking a foreign language. Impatience is a habit, so is patience. Patience has also been described as the level of endurance one can have before negativity. So patience requires endurance, a quality we associate with systematic and goal-directed physical activity, like swimming or running. And that takes regular training. We cannot run a marathon without long, mindful preparation. Negativity is the enemy of patience. When we start complaining about not being able to go to the movies or to our favorite restaurant, we are no longer exhibiting patience. We have failed the endurance test. The English word patience is derived from the Latin word patientia, itself derived from the Latin verb pati, meaning to suffer. The concept of patience implies some level of suffering. We exercise patience when something has not gone the way we want it to, but we have to deal with the undesirable situation anyway. It isn't surprising then that the word passive comes from the same Latin root. Passivity and patience are closely related. When we are patient, we have to accept a passive role of acceptance, realizing we cannot change the reality we are experiencing, at least not now. We also use the word patient to describe someone receiving medical or surgical treatment in a clinic or a hospital. The patient has to be patient until he or she recovers from the illness or condition. Patience is acceptance. Acceptance is the key to the Serenity Prayer, which has proven so effective in 12-step programs. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Try repeating that prayer when you feel your patience is about to fray. Besides the Serenity Prayer, there are other practices that can help us find patience in these difficult times. Meditation is one of them. Take 10 or 20 minutes to sit quietly and meditate, maybe especially in the morning. And you might be surprised how refreshed and restored you feel. It can make the whole day go better. Meditation can also help just before bedtime to calm your mind and ease anxiety. If you don't have the time or inclination for meditation, then try some deep breathing, especially if you are on the verge of an outburst of impatience. Pause and take 10 deep breaths, or count slowly to 10. You'll feel relaxed and restored and so much happier for not having exploded. Keep things in perspective. When you are about to blow up because your friend is 5 minutes late for a lunch date, remember how little that matters in this troubled world today. Make a list of your many blessings. Be grateful. Gratitude, like patience, is also an attitude that strengthens with mindful practice. Gratitude and patience go hand in hand. Find a new project. Take up the cello. Build a birdhouse. It really does help to change the mental channel. And remember, too, that accepting a particular situation we cannot change in the present, like COVID, doesn't mean we have to be patient forever. As an old German proverb advises, long is not forever. It only feels that way. The time will come when this pandemic will end and we can venture freely out into the world again. But until that time, adopting an attitude of patience is the most productive and spiritually rewarding strategy. As is written in the Torah, the holy book of Judaism, the patient man shows much good sense, but the quick-tempered man displays folly at its height. In another sacred text from the Islam tradition, the Sahih Bukhari, you can find a fascinating passage about the rewards of patience in the midst of a plague that seem especially relevant. That was a means of torture which Allah used to send upon whomsoever he wished. But he made it a source of mercy for the believers. For anyone who was residing in a town in which this disease is present and remains there and does not leave that town, but has patience and hopes for Allah's reward, and knows that nothing will befall him except what Allah has written for him, then he will get such reward as that of a martyr. This story clearly links patience with faith. To truly feel patience, we must have faith that the bad situation will end, or at least improve, or that it will present other possibilities that might be preferable. Patience requires faith in a good outcome. Difficult circumstances become opportunities for personal and spiritual growth. Those who are faring best in the COVID pandemic are those who see it as an opportunity rather than a misfortune. They see this momentous cosmic pause as a gift of unstructured time for reflection, self-renewal, and reappraisal of values. They may even be sorry when this recess ends and what we call real life resumes. In her book, The Power of Patience, How This Old-Fashioned Virtue Can Improve Your Life, M.J. Ryan writes, "When trials do come, we have two choices: to rail endlessly against what is happening, or to experience our feelings of sorrow, fear, and anger, then engage our patience and allow the challenge to grow our souls." An essential truth about patience is that it comes in many varieties. All of us have patience for different kinds of activities and situations. To use myself as an example, I have little patience when it comes to mechanical matters. If something breaks, I quickly lose patience with trying to figure out how to fix it. My husband, Robert, on the other hand, has infinite patience in such situations. He can sit patiently for hours figuring out how to make the broken thing work again. This is probably one of the reasons why we make such a good couple. Our patience skills complement each other. Where I do have a great deal of patience is for writing. I can sit for hours writing and revising an article or a book chapter. That I have produced 5 books and hundreds of articles seems to show that I possess an abundance of patience, or stick-to-itiveness, what the Germans call Sitzfleisch, in that particular realm. People often ask me how to go about writing a book. They say they feel daunted by the enormity of the scale of such a project, of producing hundreds of pages. I always tell them that my process is to produce 1,000 words each day. I try not to think that I will need 150,000 words before I'm done. One day at a time, it adds up. As the writer Leo Tolstoy, who produced the doorstop novel War and Peace, advised, talent is long patience. Or another writer said, genius is nothing but a greater aptitude for patience. Those who have written on patience all agree that if we are to consistently practice patience towards others or towards situations we cannot control, like COVID, we must first be patient with ourselves. If we should slip and express frustration or anger, the solution is not to beat up on ourselves. Instead, we should forgive ourselves and work to be more mindful and more patient next time the need arises. That way, we can also have more empathy towards those around us who might become impatient and angry. We can feel their pain, their frustration, but do not have to imitate or react towards it negatively. A patient man is one who can put up with himself. As Unitarian Universalists, we can also embrace the practice of patience in the challenging present moment as another phase in our spiritual development. All major religions have prized patience. For Buddhists, it's one of the perfections on the road to perfect enlightenment and embodies the principles of not returning harm even when we are criticized or attacked. For Christians, patience comes from the example of Jesus, who refused to retaliate against his many enemies, even in the face of death. It's also intertwined with love, as St. Paul wrote in his first letter to the Corinthians, "Love is patient and kind." For us in the UU faith, patience is part of our belief in peace and service. It gives us compassion for the difficulties faced by others and by ourselves. Finally, patience allows us to accept the universe in all its diversity and contradictions. Patience also requires us to live entirely in the present moment. We become impatient when we worry about what might happen in the future or what happened in the past. We cannot control the future or the past. We can wear masks and practice social distancing, but we cannot control how long COVID-19 will impact our lives. What we can control is how we live in the present. Practicing patience is a choice we can make right now. Amen.
Each of us has the power to make a difference, to do our part to strengthen the safety net that holds us all. Your generous enthusiasm and support for everything Arlington Street is doing to uplift and uphold us, keeping us strong and connected, is deeply appreciated. All of us opening our virtual wallets and giving our hearts continues to make it possible for us to thrive in these difficult days. Each week we fill the virtual collection plate, and the generosity of this beloved spiritual community never ceases to amaze us. We know these times are hard and are affecting each of us differently. As we continue to live through this pandemic, we are reminded that community is a place to hold each other when we can, and to be held by each other when we need support. If this is a time when you can give, please take a moment now to text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 617-300-0509. Scan the QR code in the order of service or click on the yellow Donate button on the bottom right of the homepage at ascboston.org. Here's that number again, 617-300-0509. Thank you for your generosity. After you make your gift to sustain our beloved community, please continue to share in the chat what inspires you during these difficult days. At the close of today's service, during virtual coffee hour, an invitation will appear on your screen inviting you to join a breakout room. This is an opportunity to visit with each other in a smaller, quieter setting. If you click yes, you'll automatically find yourself there. You can just say hello, or you might want to share a thorn and a rose from this past week, what's hard and what's good. Please be sure to leave time for everyone to speak. I'll do my best to get to each breakout room. After a few minutes, you'll be invited back from your breakout rooms to say goodbye to everyone. There are so many great moments of connection happening this week in the Arlington Zoom room. Thank you to all who are serving as the hosts this summer to keep these programs going. A full list of events and link to the Zoom room can be found at ascboston.org. Whether you have been a part of our community for decades or whether today is your first service with us, all are welcome at any of our weekly events. Reverend Kim and Reverend Beth invite you to join them for iced tea in the Arlington Street Zoom room this coming Wednesday at 5 o'clock. Bring your own tea. I'll look forward to seeing you here next Sunday morning when Tina Rose will be preaching Lessons from My Nana. Remember, friends, love is the spirit of this congregation, and we're all in this together. Please join us in singing our final hymn, number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind, and I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind, and I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind, and I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind, and I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Be ye lamps unto yourselves. Be your own confidence. Hold to the truth within yourselves as to the only lamp.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine.
please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.